Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. We are so happy to have you here. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the Listening Mentor. What is the Listening Mentor? It's actually a who. I am the Listening Mentor. I teach people how to listen at an elevated level, especially in the world today. What we are finding is that people are just not listening to each other. They may be hearing, they may look like they're listening, but they're actually not. They're thinking of other things, whatever else is going on in their mind. They look like they're listening to you, but they're actually not fully present. When we're fully present, we learn to listen without judgment. We learn to listen without providing solutions for someone who didn't ask for one. And we listen without interrupting other people. And it makes it for a beautiful world filled with inner peace and one step closer to world peace, which we all need desperately. I want to share with you, you can join my elevated listening community. And if you are a member, you saw that fantastic guided meditation that our guest, Heward, led us through. She is going to be a regular in the elevated listening community. So if you're looking for peace and meditation, look no further. Go over to drjacalyn.com/join. Okay, one more announcement before we begin. I want to invite everyone to attend our reunion show, May the 1st. What does this mean? This is open to anyone and everyone who has something to promote. Maybe it's your business, your product, your service, your film, your music, your event, whatever it is. We'd love to have you join us as we live stream for 6 hours. Each person will get 15 minutes to present whatever it is they want to present, and you'll get to meet the other people who are there as well. So go over to Eventbrite and just look for USA Global TV, the reunion show. Okay, today we have a wonderful topic, and to explore this topic with me is one of our team members here at USA Global TV. She is an elevated listener. She is the ultra consummate professional in helping people bust their stress. She is the official Harley Street stress expert. Let's welcome Caroline.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. Good. Always good to be back here.
It's always so nice for me. It's my afternoon on Friday. It's your evening. And for us to come together, and there's always a sense of peace and calm after I leave you. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I have the same feedback from many people that I speak to.
Well, it's absolutely true. And as I mentioned in the intro, you led a guided meditation for the elevated listening community, and I got great feedback on it. Thank you for doing that. How did it feel?
Wonderful. Really, really wonderful. It's so beautiful to be able to contribute in this way, because this is easy for me. This is what I do and what I love to do. And so when you're in your love or in your flow, then it's easy. Only when we're out of flow, out of sync, do we find things challenging. So it didn't go on for long enough for me. I wanted to carry on.
Well, believe me, you're going to be coming back, I hope. So that would be fantastic. So Caroline, we have a global platform, as you know. People from all over the world watch. Maybe they're on the live or the replay. And some people might be wondering, what is Harley Street? So can you tell us a little bit more about where is Harley Street, what is Harley Street, and what is the Harley Street Stress Expert all about?
Harley Street is in the middle of London. It's a very famous street. in terms of famous within Europe, as known as the destination, the place where all the good doctors and qualified alternative complementary therapists hang out. You have to have a license to practice there. So essentially, you have to pass their credential check, the medical board's credential check, and then you pay a license to practice there. So that's why Harley Street, and it's very famous in Europe, perhaps not in USA, and it's very famous in Europe. Why am I there? Well, I felt that as an ex-corporate girl, very successful in the corporate world, I decided if I was going to do therapy, stress management work, I may as well get an address and work from a place that actually took me seriously. So I did good qualifications, good training, and I decided to get my credentials checked out by Harley Street, and that's why I went there. And I've been there since 2005, and I've been doing stress management work since 2000. So that's my 22nd year this year, and I reckon that makes me an expert. I reckon that I've covered everything that there is.
Yes, ma'am, it certainly does. Wow, I'm just loving that. And that is why it's so important that you're here every Friday exploring these topics. I want to say hello to Judith Fish and Janetta Barry who are watching. Thank you. Today's subject is about seeking external validation. And we all have done this at different times of our lives, some more than others. And for some of us, we have an awakening and realize that this is what we have been doing, constantly needing feedback from other people so that we feel good about ourselves. So let's explore this topic. And what comes to mind when you think about external validation?
When I was very young, certainly when I was at school, I didn't feel like a very confident child. I was good at what I did and I enjoyed what I did. And the subjects that I wasn't very good at, I wasn't very good at. So I was never a numbers person. I was always an English person. So my lit and my language were really, really good. But my numbers, I just really suffered. It wasn't my interest. And so I didn't really have confidence. And that kind of stretched a long way during my lifetime, during my growing up years and past that. And essentially, I did have feedback because if before I'd make a big decision or a decision about doing something, I'd always ask for feedback. Well, what do you think about this? Do you think I should do that? What do you think I should say about that? And is this a good idea? And the people that I were asking were good friends. There were people in my peer group, colleagues, people that I had friendships with, and family, and they weren't in my life. And really, they weren't able to really answer me. So I was getting what they would do. And it's because I didn't feel confident. So we seek approval because we're not feeling confident. And certainly I'm looking into something at the moment, festivals, and I've never actually entered into the arena of festivals because one, I don't like mud. Two, I will not camp. I camped, oh gosh, when I was probably about eight years old, and I hated it. And so I don't like camping out. It's just not my thing. It's not my vibe. And yet I'm looking at festivals and there's some big lineups of, great people, but there's something inside me that's kind of questioning, is it right for me? Am I going to feel comfortable? Am I going to feel safe? And so now I'm actually feeling what feels right for me, not just going along with what somebody tells me, and actually feeling, does this feel like the right thing for me to do? Do I think that I'm going to enjoy it? Because normally I like intimate settings. And that's the difference between confident to do something and questioning, internally questioning, is this good for me?
Yes, I was right with you with the camping. I am not a camper whatsoever. And when I think back in my life at Girl Scouts and we went camping and you just do what you're told to do, what you're supposed to do. And as we get older, we have choice. And we don't have to do things that don't feel comfortable in our own body because other people want us to do them.
I know it might sound silly, but sort of the fact that I wouldn't be able to shower or, sort of have that space to have private space in the bathroom. Just doesn't it, I've lived quite a high society socialite lifestyle over my years. And it just doesn't, it doesn't rock with me at all. I'm kind of thinking, it's not my vibe. And yet the lineups are really good and all the people, sort of, it just feels like everything that I'm seeing about it is great. It'd be great if I could just go there for a day and come home. And then maybe go back the next day. But this is the difference between seeking approval. I'm not seeking somebody's approval to go. I'm questioning, will I feel comfortable? And that's the difference. When we're seeking approval, we're asking somebody else's opinion. Do you think I should do this? Whereas I've completely 360-degree reversed that. And now I'm saying, I'm not sure it's right for me. And there's a big, big difference, because feel is different from approval. When you're feeling, you're internally initializing and internally seeking your own internal validation. When you're external, you're thinking from your mind and you're looking for other people's comment and feedback. And they're different.
Yes, I agree with you. And Caroline, you and I have made it clear that you and I are both single women. And so we've both been in relationships. And I think it's different when you're a single person, because you don't actually have to consider your partner's thoughts and feelings about something. And you're able to listen to yourself and say, hey, this feels good. It doesn't feel good. But for people who are in a relationship with someone that's, an ongoing relationship, and you get a lot of pushback if you follow your intuition and what feels good for you, if the other person wants you to spend time with them doing these things that they enjoy. So how does one deal with that?
Well, I had that to come up with when I was in my marriage. And essentially, he let me do my thing and I let him do his thing. And we shared things that we like to do together. So we had a huge respect for what was good for me wasn't actually his vibe, and what was good for him wasn't mine. He liked to kind of muck around on boats and, be on the canal and getting really, sort of dirty and, and I wasn't. And I remember spending a New Year with him where, we were chugging up the canal on New Year's Eve, and I was freezing and I was holding on to the exhaust pipe of the boat for dear life because I was so cold. And I just thought, you know what, I'm never doing this ever again. But we have a go with some of these things because we're in a relationship and because we want to please the other person. And that was very early on in that relationship. And then I got to realize, this is his thing and this is my thing. And sometimes we come together and share, and it's wonderful. And sometimes it's important to let the other person have their space. And I met up with a friend that I've not seen for about 15 years last weekend. And we met up in an Irish bar, and we just caught up, and it was fun. We had lots of laughter and, all the recollections of the things that we used to do. And, he was one of the guys that was part of Junior Chamber and a voluntary personal self-development organization I belonged to. And we just had so many parties and so much fun, and it was hilarious. And he was telling me he had lots of photographs. And I said to him, where's your wife? I said, I thought she'd be here. And he said, oh, no. He said, I do my thing. She does her thing. And I just smiled because I thought that was so cool that, that's how that relationship has really lasted, because there's an understanding of what makes the other person need to be doing something on their own and something that they want to share. And I feel that that's important in a relationship, because when you come together, if you're not stuck together at the hip through everything you're doing, then you've got something to talk about and something to share.
Great points. I'm right there with you, my friend. I'm not a boater. I do not like boating. And when I was dating, if someone told me that they spent a lot of their life on a boat, I'm sorry, but no, because I'm just not interested. Because they always initially they want you to share that with them, right? Because this is my boat. This is what I do. So something else that you mentioned that spurred a thought in me is when you're in that relationship And maybe you're not in that healthy of a place where you have this insecurity about your partner doing other things. Oh, he's going to be doing other things with other people. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what she's doing. A lot of times that causes strife as well. And one party or the other will make the other one feel badly for not doing what they want because they just are afraid to let them go and do their thing. Have you had this happen or heard of it?
Yes, and that's an insecurity on either part. And when you're insecure, you're looking for security, to feel secure by the other person being with you all of the time. Relationships don't work like that. You know, that they're stifling, and they're invading in terms of, it's important to have your space and your time to do your thing, because you are still you. Otherwise, you get lost in the other person's identity. And a lot of people do that. They kind of do all the things that their partner does, and then they forget their friends, they forget their hobbies, and they forget the things that make them vibe, the things that made them attractive in the first place to their partner. And so, that is an important thing for me, that, sort of and it is about your confidence. I like to do this, you like to do that, sort of let's allow that space to explore, to have fun in what we enjoy, and then come together. And if you are insecure, look at what you're insecure about, because that is not what was attractive when you first met. And if there's that kind of insecurity, that will be the demise of the relationship and the downfall of the relationship.
Such powerful points that you're making, that many times there's a connection for a reason. And this has happened to me. And then they want you to change everything. It's like, wait a minute, you liked me for this, this, and this, but now you don't want me to work. You don't want me to work out. Why? What happened?
Well, I'll share something really funny with you. I attract, and I don't know what it is, but I tend to attract people that are multimillionaires, that have money, and that's been going on for some time, ever since I can remember, since sort of like 2010ish. So over a decade. And I met this amazing, beautiful guy, American, and we got to know each other over a good year. And we just really sparked off each other. We had a lot of fun, and it really worked. We never ran out of conversation. And then we started dating. He actually asked me to be his girlfriend. And then all the rot set in, because although he really got to know me and loved me for who I am, and I always met him at conferences, and I didn't realize he was very famous, and he was a speaker and an author, and he was on stage, and he was really big, and I didn't realize that. And when I found out, I was kind of in awe that I'd landed up meeting somebody like that, because he just seemed really normal, and that's how I am. I don't get overawed by somebody's stardom, and because everybody is human. And then when we started going out together and being in a relationship, he said, "You'll never have to work ever again." He says, "I can take you away from all of this. I'll show you how to earn money online. And then, we can just sip pina colada and travel all over the world." And I was just thinking, how do I tell him that doesn't thrill me? Because I understood why he wanted me to do that, because he just wanted to spend time with me. He said, "I love spending time with you. There's not enough time with you." I didn't really feel that it was going to be a scintillating lifestyle to just sip pina colada and travel all over the world. And he was lovely. And I just thought, well, how did that happen? And that's because somebody loves you for who you are, and they want more of you. And then they want to change you because they think that's where it goes. And it doesn't, because you lose the sensitivity of what made you attractive in the first place. He loved the fact that I was really independent, that I had a place of my own in London, and, sort of it was a beautiful home. And he loved the fact of my independence. But then he wanted to say, "Hey, you don't need that anymore. You've got me. You'll never have to work again. I can give you everything you need." And it's like, that's sort of, if you take away me working and me helping people transform their lives, you take away me. You take away what makes me me. And it didn't seem to make sense. And so, yes, it's really interesting that people meet someone and then they're trying to change them, and it's because there's something in them that's insecure that wants you to be always there for them.
Yes, absolutely. I had someone who offered me a contract to pay me the same amount of money I was getting paid in my corporate job to quit and travel around the world with him. Same kind of thing. I was like, wow. No, you're like, you don't even have to think twice about it, because it's taking who you are and making you into something else that, and again, I think it's based on insecurity. So thanks for sharing that story, Caroline.
This is the validation. We've been brilliant friends. He still stays in touch, and we're very similar in a lot of ways, and we kind of laugh at the same kind of things, and it's wonderful. But, I feel that there was something missing there from the friendship to the relationship. Something changed, something flipped. Sometimes people think that if you're totally like them, then it works. And that is the insecurity of it all. And this is the validation. This is what we're looking for, the approval seeking. I'm really independent. I like to do what I like to do. And I like the other person to be busy too. And then, we meet in the middle and it's fun. And if it's not like that, I feel it's very claustrophobic. And I was very lucky, the marriage wasn't a fantastic one. There were things that were not right in it. But one of the things that was right in it is I had my space and I could do the things that I wanted to do and explore in the way that I did and change my career, through being with him because he gave me the space. So that was beautiful. The thing that, wasn't working was the fact that it was more of a friendship. I married a friend. I married a brother. I married, somebody that was a good mate. I didn't marry, somebody for the love and the romanticism of it all. I married somebody almost like a consort. So that was and I didn't realize that at the time. It was where I was and where he was. And then I changed.
Life lessons that sometimes it takes us years, decades to figure it out. But when we do, it's a good indication of the work that we've done on ourselves. So we're going to take a break, but first we have a comment from someone new to our platform, Massingale. Hello, thank you for watching. Hello, how are you today? We're doing well, and we're glad that you're here with us. All right, we're going to take a break, and we're actually going to take a moment, and then we'll be back with some more discussion. Let's talk about how that external validation can be linked to or intersected with resentment when we come back. All right, stay with us here on USA Global TV.
Take a moment.
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 Take a moment. So I've had the privilege of photographing some incredible people over the years, and during each shoot I've asked the subject to close their eyes and take themselves to a peaceful place just for a few seconds. I've found that this really helps to refresh the energy between the camera and the subject. They had an energy that was quite special and quite different from the rest of the shoot. The collection grew, and now it feels the right time to use it for something good. I think it'd be amazing if we could help to raise awareness and involve people in the discussion about mental health. So what we're asking to do is for everyone to upload their own self-portraits. All of these portraits will become part of a massive artwork. I'm really excited to see this project go from hundreds of pictures to thousands of pictures. Essentially, an ever-evolving artwork that says we're all in this together.
Close your eyes and take a moment.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diane Floyd Bames' A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at dianefloydbame.com.
Trust of your own inner sanctum, of your own inner feelings and beliefs. And so in order to compensate for that, you will go outside of yourself looking for answers from someone else who really can't give you the answers that you need because they're not in your life and they're not living your values and your principles and your state of being. And so when we're seeking external to us, it actually is because there's an internal battle, an internal not feeling what's right, not feeling what's wrong for ourselves. Because what's right for me might not be right for you. What's good for me might not be good for you. And so if I told you what was right for me and you should do this way, it may not actually work for you because you're coming from a different place. We're living two different lives. two different bodies, two different people. And so when we're seeking approval external to us, so not looking at our own internal representation of what makes me feel good, what happens is that you're then not being you. You're actually living your life through someone else. And many of us do that. Many of us step into a role of a superwoman or superman, trying to be everything that we think people want us to be, and forgetting about being our true authentic self. And so then it's hard work, and it's very tiring and very draining. And my invitation for you, because when you become truly authentic and feeling from the place that feels right for you, there is no battle of trying to please somebody. There is only you and pleasing you and what feels good for you.
And in my experience, once you let that go, because that's exhausting. It's exhausting constantly trying to please someone else and be someone you're not. And there's a lot of resentment that also builds up because you feel like you can never be enough. You can never be everything that the other person wants. So I feel like when you truly believe who you are, in who you are, and you're in your lane and you found your purpose and you found your passion, you no longer need that validation from other people. And even though they may still throw it out there and try to reel you in, you're not so quick to pick that hook up and 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 latch on.
It's also an energy game as well, because if somebody's constantly seeking your approval, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I know, because I was there. I used to be that person because I didn't feel confident. I felt that I was having to almost justify and prove my worth, my value. And if I was told, oh, do this because this will give you this, I would do that, what they were suggesting, and it doesn't always give me what I was told it was going to give me, because we're living different lives and we're coming from different perspectives. The first time that I actually let that go, I felt more peaceful, more calmer, and it wasn't like I was trying to be something that I didn't feel I was. I was totally secure in what felt good. And I remember my best mate, my then best mate, we'd done all sorts of dinner parties and social gatherings and the black tie do's and the champagne soirees and up till 4 or 5 in the morning on the port and cheese. And, we really have lived the lifestyle together for a long time. And I remember her saying to me, you never ask me for my advice anymore or my approval. She said, that's a really big thing that I've noticed about you. And it was something that I hadn't actually realized that changed. It was feedback. It was friendships that were actually saying, you don't ask me anymore. And I said, well, because it's nothing to do with you. I'll please myself. And I was being very bold, almost bolshy. Well, why should I seek your advice? And when I was on this, sort of different tread in life and looking at different things, I had friends saying, really worried about you, going to study Reiki, what's the matter? You're looking really odd, we're kind of concerned. You're spending all this money with people and, it's all a bit weird, and that's because it was something they didn't understand. It wasn't part of the landscape for them or for me at the time. I was venturing into new territory. And so I was looking at new validation through exploration, through energetic work. And it was different. And it really gave me a lot of confidence, because as I was moving through, it was like, I like that. I definitely don't like that. I like to take on board this. I definitely don't want to do that. And I was really kind of sorting through the wheat and the chaff, saying, this is good for me. This doesn't feel right. I don't feel comfortable here. So I was able to really feel comfortable, because there wasn't anybody that I knew that I could ask that I felt a trust with. And so, I kind of went out on a limb with no protection of anybody that I knew, and I made no friends. And some people I warmed to, and some people I thought, oh, do you know what? That just doesn't feel right. And I went inside in a place that I hadn't really felt comfortable to go previously, because there wasn't anybody else that I could ask externally. So I went inside into my heart and into what felt right. And when we're children, we don't ask. When we're born, we're definitely not asking. We're just seeking and exploring. And no child will ask, is this okay to do? And are you okay if I do this? They're just not doing it. They're exploratory, they're exploring and investigating. And when they put their hand on the hot stove, they say, oh, no, that's not good. I won't do that again. And so they learn, but they explore. Our children are explorers, and we were children once. Something changed, something happened, and we stopped exploring because something changed in us and we didn't feel safe. And then we thought we had to ask other people's approval. And so we do things to seek approval, like Superman, Superwoman, being everything that we think we should be, rather than being who we really, truly were meant to be.
Well said, Caroline. And just to summarize for our audience, if you find that you are seeking validation from others on a regular basis and things are coming up for you, resentment, anger, you've got a lot of discord in your life with other people, it may be time to stop, pause, and take a break and look within. And when you look within, if you don't necessarily like what you see, or maybe you don't know exactly what your purpose is, or you haven't found your passion, going and exploring, being curious, being open may take you down a path where you're going to leave these other people behind. And that can be scary. That could be a scary place. But don't be afraid, because being where you are today is obviously not bringing you the joy and the peace that you would like to have.
Sometimes people say better the devil you know, rather than testing the territory, somewhere else. And we do fall foul of that sometimes, of staying on that wheel that we know, because it's better the person that you know, even though it's not working. I've always been the adventurer and gone off and done my own thing and said, well, I want to go and have a look at this and see how this works. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I've explored, and I've said, yes, I've had a look at that, and that's not for me. And then there's some things that I've gone and explored really out of my comfort zone and out of the comfort zone of the friends and the colleagues that are around me, and the family, friendships, and the extended family. And I've been amazed, just by stepping out into an unfamiliar territory, how much I've enjoyed exploring without the need to be something that I think that I should be with them, or behave in a certain way. There's no expectations. I'm just going there, I don't know anybody, and then I'm being what feels good in that moment. And then there is no validation. And so I actually feel that sometimes it's a good thing to step out of your comfort zone and go and find something that sounds interesting, that feels good. And if it's not good, and it's not what you thought it was going to be, at least you had a go. At least you went and explored and tried it. Sometimes I do that through exploring on the internet. I'll look at things and I'll say, that definitely isn't for me. I'm not into pain. And, I'm not into rain. I'm not into mud. And I know that might sound silly, but, when we know what we like and what we don't like, it becomes a much more interesting world, because then we start to dismiss or discount some things, and then we look at other things. I never ever thought in a million years, 20 years ago, I'd be lying down, with these gongs playing, I never ever thought in a million years that I would ever be dancing without a glass of Cinzano or wine in my hands. I just didn't think that would be like that because it was the norm. You know, I'd always been clubbing and I'd always been to private clubs and I'd always danced ever since I can remember. Since I was about, I don't know, 5, 6 years old, I'd always gone to little dances. So that was something that's not changed. What's changed is the environments. Now I'm doing what they call sober conscious raves. So I'm literally dancing barefoot without drinks in my hand, without the phone, because that's the other distraction that we have in our current times, without the need to be chatting to someone, just literally to be in the experience of the vibe of the frequency of the music. And it's beautiful. I'm leaving kind of feeling really amazingly blissed out, just feeling really, really good, as if I've probably had a lot of wine to drink, but I haven't. So the cheap nights. And that's when you go inside, that's when you know. And you don't need to seek anybody else's approval. I know how it makes me feel. But when we're afraid to go inside, I would question why. Why are you looking for external validation? Because there's something inside that's not working. Because we were all born very exploring children. I promise you, we were all born, you know, sort of with no mind, with no reservations, with no approval seeking, with no insecurities. Something changed, something happened that made us feel insecure, made us feel unconfident, and made us seek approval. And I certainly know where mine came from. You know, so it's important to feel it's okay to put your foot forward into something. I'm now, you know, sort of with the guidance of one of my mentors, exploring, is festivals the right thing for me to do? Do I feel safe? Do I feel comfortable? I definitely won't do the camping, so I've got to find a way around that somehow. You know, and I don't know what that is. It might just be to pay the whole weekend fee and go for the day and come home. I don't know. It is about feeling your way through it rather than thinking your way through it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great information that you just shared and encouragement to give people as we go into the weekend, Caroline. I really appreciate it. We have to close out. So for people who want to contact you, your contact information is here, but what's the best way for people to book a session with you?
Well, I offer a free stress buster consultation on the Zoom, 30 minutes. So if you have any physical, so achy pains, emotional stress or mental stress like anxiety, depression, or sleep problems, if you have any type of issues that is causing you stress, so it's whatever you're complaining about, I offer a free Zoom consultation. And you can reach me to book it in on No More Stress, as the 3 words, no, N-O, more stress, at live.co.uk. So we're a global audience here, and so your time is different to my time. I'm London, UK. So let's meet in email and arrange a time that works for you and for me, and let me help you with your stress. I promise you a bust through your current stress and the way that you see things, and an incredible deep sleep.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Always a pleasure having you here, and I wish you a beautiful weekend, and I'll be in touch with you for Sunday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone. It's been quite a day of broadcasting. We're coming right back. Our next show is called Loving Longevity, and our guest is Dottie Pepper. She's a national broadcaster, a 17-time LPGA winner and trailblazer for women's golf. She's the lead walking reporter for CBS Sports, PGA Tour Masters, and PGA Championship. So do stay with us. That show will be followed by presenting pet psychic Amina. Thank you again. You can watch all of our shows over on our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV. Thank you, and God bless you all. Bye, Caroline.